no record players or anything like that. So jukeboxes were in. And jukeboxes were in every restaurant, every bar. And one lady told me they even had them in the basement of her church. And she said, you know what? She said they were Lutheran. She said all the Methodists and Presbyterians and Baptists, all of them. They went to their own churches and then they came and had coffee at our place, at our church, so they could listen to the jukebox. And she said they'd bring us goodies, you know, and we'd all sit and just have a good time. She said it was just like the Lord wanted everybody in the town to get together, and He did it through the jukebox. So she said it was really fun. She said some of us would even dance down there. She said when the minister wasn't there. She said we do a little dancing through the church. So come on in. This is Homefront USA.
Holy crap.
And all of these things were collected to make machines and guns and ammunition and all that stuff out of this. This is what we call a granny home. It's a living room and a kitchen. You can go in it if you want. Your grandmothers might have had some of that stuff. I don't know. Your grandmothers aren't even that old.
Mine are. My grandfather was alive in World War II.
And here's a sewing machine, and I told a couple little boys that was a sewing machine, and they went over and the guy told me, he said, "You're lying, that's not a sewing machine. There's no motor on it." I said, "You didn't need a motor. What did you do with it?" You know? Yes, they used the pedals down there to sew it. And this was a radio, and the guy, one little kid said to me one time, "They didn't have a TV?" And I said, "No." He said, "Oh, that'd be terrible."
No, wouldn't it be terrible? They had books.
They had books, that's right.
That's all I need.
And they played games, they did a lot of stuff with neighbors and so on. And the reason this is boarded up here is because people were stealing dishes from here. Isn't that terrible?
Seriously?
Seriously. And on the other side, there's a door to come in here, and that used to be open.
So you used to be able to walk through here.
People, yeah, the people were stealing all that stuff.
Typical
And
few
the main
burning.
thing they stole, one of the things was that pie on the stove there. Well, I'd love to see them eat it because it's made out of cardboard.
Typical the
But
few.
isn't that terrible?
Yeah, I would have loved to explore this, but thanks, thieves.
The rest of the stuff here all looks fake, you know, that food and everything. But anyway, and some people say, "Oh yes, we had this or that or whatever at our house." There's a flour bin. You see that sticking out there?
Yep.
That brown thing. And the refrigerator's that white thing right there. And they would get ice.
Put this into the top, right?
And put it in the top. That's right. And it supposedly holds about 3 ice cube trays.
Oh, sorry.
But mainly a lot of their stuff went into the root cellar. And that's the basement of their house. That was the coldest place they had. And some people even told me that their grandparents had this kind of a couch too. Red.
Looks familiar to me.
These are all storefronts that are down on Palafox Avenue. That's the main street in Pensacola, and it's there in 1943. And it's the storefront, original storefront, and all the products and all the prices. Here you can get a shave and a haircut for 50 cents. And
Yeah.
I think that what's playing on the radio is the World Series.
Can we go back to those prices, please? With how often I have to get haircuts for RFTC, that'd be real nice.
Yeah. Here's a barber shop, here's a pawn shop. And this is a Harley Davidson. A motorcycle that was used extensively in World War II in the forests of Germany. And what happened was our men used that to drive out of their posts to check out the Germans that were walking on the roads and all that sort of thing. And it has all the gears on the left, so the soldier could hold his rifle on the right. And that one, and they also all had sidecars. So there were 2 of them in each of those. And I had a old guy, I'm sure in his 90s, come through. And said to me, "Girlie, is that thing dirty?" I said, "I don't think so." And yeah, and that works.
Yeah, just
Stand on that, yeah, and look right straight down and the yellow thing across the bottom. I think it's a little heavy.
yeah, because that gave me about 10 pounds.
Yeah, I did too.
Holy, a Harley. This is for you, Greg.
selling my house and
What am I saying? What isn't like motorcycles?
Okay. Oh, really? That's kind of neat.
that's my grandpa.
What are the sickles?
It's our high school.
Yeah.
Oh, sickles.
AFJ RTC, Air Force Junior RTC.
Oh, you're an Air Force group?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, that's what my husband was in.
My grandpa worked at
So I'm representing your grandpa worked where?
at a factory for Harley Davidson.
Oh, okay. Oh, neat. I bet he does. And I am a Rosie the Riveter. Do you know who Rosie the
Yep.
Riveters were? They were the women who went into the factories after Pearl Harbor was bombed. And Franklin Roosevelt declared war on Japan, December 7th, 1941.
A day to live in infamy.
Pardon?
A day to live in infamy.
Yes, that's right. And, anyway, within about 2 months, we lost 3,000 men living there, we lost 200 planes, we lost 16 to 18 battleships, and it just about decimated our navy. So, within 2 months, 2 to 3 million men. And that left all men out of all the factories. And women who went to work in the factories were called Rosie the Riveters. And they usually wore a scarf on their head because they had long hair. And their hair was caught in all the machines. And they didn't necessarily wear skirts. They usually wore men's blue little suits. The men all wore too. But they're so hot, I can't wear them. Anyway, so and they had one on the base here that made the inner parts of planes, the engines, the temperatures, and everything that was used on the inside of planes. This is a store. Go in there. Are you in a hurry to get going?
No, we're not in a hurry.
It's fine.
So I'm not.
Okay. This was a post office. The post office was usually in the store, too. And there's all kinds of brown envelopes in here. You see those? Those are from the War Department. So those are probably telling of deaths
Or drafts.
or
Right.
injuries.
Oh, what about drafts?
No, these are all from soldiers abroad, I guess. And the only way that mail could be given out was if a woman had ID, and most of them did not drive, so they didn't have any ID, or if the people who worked in the post office knew the women. Well, a lot of the women, when their husbands went to war, went and lived with their in-laws, their parents and all that kind of stuff, took their kids. And so, all of this mail here is probably from World War II. Now, my dad was in World War II, but I didn't live in Atlanta or Kansas City, where this came from. And so I thought there were letters of my dad in there. By George, I'd get into that. Buddy, some way I see there's some holes here. I'd open those, I'd open these, I'd open it up. Because we have a couple letters from my dad in the service over there. But I want more. And these are all products, all cans that were given to the museum by a man who closed his store. And they put the original labels from 1943 on them. And you see this can of tomatoes is 23 cents and 24 points. Well, things were rationed then. It means you got a ration book that had stamps in it. And a can of tomatoes cost you 23 cents and 24 points. And you got a new ration book every month. Everybody in your family got a ration book, including a baby. So you had to use all your points in a month. Well, that brought about something called the Liberty Gardens. And the Liberty Gardens, we have a little one out there because women said, we're not going to pay 47 cents for a can of tomatoes. So they put in gardens. And they raise all this stuff, beets and corn and all that kind of stuff. I had the opportunity to interview 2 Rosies. They were in their 90s, and they both had gardens, and they both raised chickens, and they both milked cows, as did they teach all their kids. And they said their kids, their younger kids just loved working in the gardens. Have you ever worked in the garden?
Yep.
No, goodness. It's planting and watering and weeding and
Good exercise.
Picking everything else up. My dad had a garden. Anyway, and then they would can all of it and put it in their root cellar. And so we didn't have to pay for all this stuff like that.
No points spent.
Yeah, yeah. And all of these cans, like look at that Campbell soup can. It's the same label it's on now, isn't it? And here, have you ever had Cracker Jack or Ritz crackers?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are back 75 years ago. And here's Del Monte, Heinz. Look at Hershey syrup. That's what we get it in now, isn't it? Is that can?
Jeez, that was been 75 years.
You know. And here's Spam. Have you ever had Spam?
I've had it a couple times.
Oh, I've had it so much. Right? And the reason Spam was like that and ham was like that, and we were really eating a lot, was because you didn't have to put it in a refrigerator.
Which, as previously stated, needed ice.
That's
And it was
right.
very small, as we've seen.
Heinz and Oreo sandwiches, they called them, and Jell-O was popular then. And it's funny that one box of Jell-O sitting out there is called a cola flavor. Well, that might be popular now, mightn't it? Because of all the Coca-Cola people like. And I've had kids ask me, "Oh, can I buy one of those candy bars? They're 5 cents." And I said, "Sure, if you want to eat wood, because you could never put chocolate, in something in here for years."
Yeah.
And here is the 1943 cost of living. And the average income in 1943 was $2,041 a year. Can you imagine that? Most people can't live on that a month now.
Inflation, ho!
Yeah. And cars were, what did they say? A new car was, what is that? $900, I think, and a house was $3,600, and so on.
To translate to nowadays, that would probably be.
Oh yeah.
I don't even want to think about how expensive that would be nowadays.
Yeah. And milk was, if you didn't live on a farm and you didn't milk your cows and everything, milk came in these things, and see that big gray thing in front of the door there?
Yeah.
Well, milk would come in that in the morning for you, and then you put your empties in there, and then they come and they refill them, and that's what it costs you. So,
Pardon me, man.
so there's all kinds of things in this store. See, there's all kinds of cereals up there, like Raisin Bran is up there, and that's still one of my favorites. Post Toasties, Rice Krispies, all kinds of stuff. What do you guys have for breakfast?
We had hotel breakfast, biscuits, sausage, bacon,
Okay.
7 glasses of orange juice.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Earlier today, I had an omelet.
Oh yeah, I love omelets.
Ooh, lentils.
3 pork wings and orange juice.
Oh good. Do you all stay at your school?
No, we took a bus ride down here. It was about 7 hours.
Okay. Do you live in your homes and then you go to that school?
Yep, high school
You
students.
don't board at the
High school, no.
like they do here. And you're all in ROTC, ROTC?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Well, good for you guys.
All 3 of them are first years. I'm a 3rd year.
Okay. You graduate after 4 years then?
For ROTC, it's a maximum of 4 years. So I know for example, he's a sophomore, but he's only a first year cadet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thanks for stopping, everybody.
Thank you for having us, ma'am. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
And I
presentation.
love meeting a Rosie, because they were hardworking girls.
Oh, you worked pretty hard to show us this presentation, so thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thought I was on minutes a lot.
And I love being a principal.
Have a great day, ma'am.
Yeah, you too.
So, ma'am, what year did you say this was?
1943.
1943. Thank you.
Yeah. I think there's a sign right out here. Is it there?
I do not see it.
Or is it one? Oh, maybe it's on the other side.
Maybe.
You just gotta go and take it off. What was that?
That was my phone. Alright, that was a nice presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed that, so I'll see you guys later. Actually, no, let's get one view of the plane. You see in that corner, all the way over there, that's enemy 262, and next to it, 0. This place is awesome. Later, boys.